What is good, my peoples? This is your cosmic homegirl, and I am doing a special video right now just to kind of show you guys some real life stuff, astrology and life, how it all works together, how astrology is kind of like your own clock, you know what I mean? Your own clock and calendar that's personal to you about your life and the timing of life events. So I just wanted to show you guys a lesson in that, show you a couple of things. And also, I did have to take a hiatus for a couple of months unexpectedly, and people were asking me, where were you? What happened? This and that. And this is just kind of, just explaining that as well. I am a Scorpio rising. As you can see, the chart on the screen is that of Scorpio rising. And Scorpios are very private people. But, I try to be an open book as much as possible. That's my style of teaching astrology, is showing you guys how everything in astrology, can show your real life timing of events and how to navigate through stuff. I can tell you guys one thing. Astrology has been life-saving for me because, I'm the type of person, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate, that I need to know answers to things or else I get real frustrated. You know what I'm saying? Number one. Number two, I could be very gloom and doom a lot of times, and I'm heavy on the earth energy in my chart. I have a lot of Taurus energy too. Taurus and Scorpio, they're opposite signs, but they can think kind of similarly a lot of times when it comes to considering things to be permanent. They can be very gloom and doom. Okay. And I'm a sixth houser too, and that's like Virgo energy, which could be very pessimistic. So, me learning about astrology shows like, okay, this isn't permanent. This too shall pass. This is just a wave of energy that will move and shift. The planets, they move and shift constantly. And so it shows how our lives move and shift constantly. So I'm going to teach you guys a couple of things and, try to keep it as real as possible. My apologies for being absent, out of the loop for a couple of months, especially to my clientele as well as my followers. But I couldn't really find the words to say, man. It's like how to explain what the fuck was going on in my life without getting too personal. Because you see, Jupiter and Saturn are in my fourth house, right? Fourth house is your personal life. So a lot of my personal life, including family and stuff, is being fucked up right now, to be honest. There's some blessings there, of course. Jupiter will bring the blessings. But, it's still being ripped apart. And my south node is also Aquarius in the fourth house. So a lot of family karma things have been coming up. So, I've been trying to find a way to keep things quote unquote professional. But at the same time, fuck professional. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have Chiron aspecting my entire fucking chart in life. Okay, Chiron is the wounded healer. So through my wounds, I help other people to heal. And Chiron aspects my MC in my chart, which is the midheaven, which is your career and your public image and how people see you, how people know you. So if I can help other people learn through my pain, well then fuck it, so be it. I'll just keep it real and be honest. Okay. So pretty much, yeah, I'm going to focus a lot on this Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius. They're in my fourth house right now as a Scorpio rising. Also, side note, I do have yearly horoscopes available for each sign on my website, indigomoon.astrology.com. Okay. Me knowing what's going on in the sky in 2021 for me has really helped me. I still drown in my feels, and I'm still at least partially human, and this stuff still gets to me. But at least I know by looking at my transits for the year that this too shall pass, and this is just a part of this time in my life. Okay, so if I could help any of you guys by you knowing like a little bit more about why certain things are going on in your world, I hope I can. And these yearly forecasts can definitely shed some light on some things. So these are pre-recorded. I did these last year. Most of them some last year, some beginning of this year, but they're pre-recorded. They are about 2 hours long, and I send you the link along with your purchase. Okay. And they go through the whole year of 2021, the most major planetary movements and the eclipses and the Mercury retrogrades of it all and all of that stuff. Okay. So if you want to know how your year is going to go, but we're already a quarter of a way through, but so how the rest of it's going to go, but like why certain things may be already going on for you in 2021, definitely hit up my website and get one of these horoscopes. Okay. To shed a little light on that. So, now astrology lesson, transits lesson, where have I been and why and all of that. So, where do I start? I'm going to try not to make this too long or sappy or anything. And if I do get emotional, pardon me at my fucking double water self. Okay. But, pretty much, and no, this is not my chart, you guys. This is just an example sample chart of a Scorpio rising and where the planets are currently. Okay. It's all the green stuff. These are where the planets are currently for Scorpio risings. But also if you're Scorpio sun or moon, these aspects could be something that resonates with you too, as far as the effects that I will explain. So pretty much, you guys, right now with things hitting my 8th house, which is Gemini, there's the North Node there. There's the eclipses that have been popping here. As soon as that happened last year in May of 2020, it's like a lot of things from my 8th house, which is it can rule your past traumas, like traumatic experiences that you've been through in your life that you try to hide and stash away and bury away. The 8th house, it rules death. Okay, so I explained this on an Instagram live recently that the 8th house could be like the graveyard of your trauma, the graveyard of things that were difficult and emotionally, turbulent and turmoil you've gone through that you try to hide it away deep in the back of your mind. Well, whenever there are transits, major transits to your 8th house, all of that shit is being dug up. It's like a grave digger is going through that graveyard of all your trauma and digging it up. And if you don't deal with it when you're conscious, when you're awake, it can show up in your nightmares, in your dreams at night. So literally, that started trickling through for me last year in 2020. As soon as eclipses started hitting Gemini, the North Node hit Gemini and all that stuff, it started, there's things that happened to me in my childhood mostly. A lot of shit happened, okay? That started coming back to haunt me. And I would work, I had a full-time job for a short period of time, a full-time serious, job, full-time plus overtime job during this North Node in Gemini. And like when it first started, so I would just work, right? And then on the opposite end, you have stuff popping in Sagittarius, which is the 2nd house, which is, the physical enjoyment of life, like buying things, purchasing things that, are satisfying to your 5 senses. Good food, good drinks, perfumes, body sprays, candles, clothes that look good and feel good, indulging and just being a human being and sitting in an environment that like your surroundings are just like beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the 2nd house rules. So there's an opposition here with the eclipses, with the nodes. So the more that things from my childhood and past came back to haunt me, the more I would self-indulge and I would work. 2nd house is also earned income. So, the more I would also work and, I was making good money for a little while and stuff. So I would have, things haunt me and it was painful emotionally, but I would try to fix it by maybe, traveling to a beautiful place, whether locally or out of state, or taking myself out to eat, like, treat yourself, self-care, all that stuff. I would indulge in a lot to try to suppress all of the shit that was coming up to the surface in the eighth house. I looked to the opposite end for that, and it didn't really work very well, because I would keep having nightmares and nightmares and nightmares, and people that did things to me when I was a child, the ones that are still alive, I was yelling at them. Everything that I wanted to say to them, I was yelling and screaming at them and getting into fights with them and stuff in my nightmares and my dreams. And I would still be like, no, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, like I always do. When I go through some shit, I just say, oh no, I'm good, and I just pour myself into work mostly to push it away. Well, when you have 8th house transits, folks, that doesn't work for very long, if at all, if even at all, okay? This is a house of psychology, and people going to like therapy and therapists, and for some people getting readings and stuff like that when you have 8th house heavy transits. So that, is going on. And at the same time that is going on, Saturn was in Aquarius for a little bit in 2020, and then dipped out, and then dipped back in the end of 2020, and then Saturn joined. So it's like as soon as 2021 hit, my 4th house, which is your family life, your home, and it can also mean like your parents, parental figures and stuff, that started being lit up. And I, once again, poured myself into work, booked myself for so much work, readings, and also I have a couple of other jobs, part-time jobs that I have had for years, that are things that I also do to make money. I booked myself for so much work at the beginning of 2021 to try to avoid, once again, facing emotional turmoil and issues. But they kept haunting me once again, nightmares of me yelling at people and screaming, certain things in my dreams kept happening. And then finally, all of that shit started just coming out in real life, and shit hit the fan in January. And then I was like, yo, that's when I was like, I'm going to book myself for so much work. I'm not even going to have time to be in my feelings or anything. And then February, when there was like a new moon in Aquarius and every fucking other planet in the sky was in Aquarius, lighting up my family and personal life sector, it's like shit really hit the fan, and the universe was like, no, you are going to deal with this, okay? So that's pretty much what happened in a nutshell, just to be, surface level with it. At the same time all this is going on, Lilith is in Taurus, and those who know me know that I have including Chiron, I have 5 different celestial bodies in the sign of Taurus. My own Lilith is in Scorpio, and Lilith rules things to do with femininity, but it could be like the darker side of femininity, like if you have been molested or raped or abused, or if you've had abortions or miscarriages, or it's the darker side of femininity. But it can also mean you having power over your femininity and how it's dispersed and how it's expressed. It's raw primal feminine energy. So at the same time all this shit is popping, Lilith is on me, and she's like, yo, you really need to deal with your issues that have to do with femininity. And a lot of my issues with femininity stem from childhood, from the 4th house, from trauma that happened back then, which is the 8th house. So all this shit is lighting me up at the same time, ganging up on me, and making me realize that I have issues being vulnerable and with femininity and sexuality and all that stuff because of childhood things. And when I say childhood things, and like I said, Lilith is the darker side of life and darker side of femininity. Yes, I did have I was abused a lot during my childhood. I have, out of the immediate family that I had in my household, half of them actually, violated me as a little girl. Okay. Not my father. I know that's a classic story for a lot of people, but no, actually for me it was not my father. It was one female family member and one male family member. Um, and the female family member is still alive, and I was actually living with them over the last couple of years. I had to move in with them. I asked for help and support because I was going through pretty much a divorce, and my financial my finances were so fucked and whacked because of my previous relationship and that person being so terrible with money and finances. It's unfucking believable how horrible they were and how they put us into the down to the ground, like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a Taurus. I'm about that money, I'm about the coin and saving it and investing in it, all this stuff. But when I was just partnered with the wrong person, as a life partner, and I needed help. I needed to, unfortunately, I hate asking for help. I hate being vulnerable, but I had to ask a family member for help. The one person that people in this world always say they can turn to, right? The one person that you should be able to be a baby to, no matter how old you are with your chronological age. I asked them for help and support. I buckled down and said, can you help me out? And they said, sure, yeah. And I said, look, my finances may fluctuate for a little while, while I'm getting back on my feet after, this separation and everything. So I may not always be able to contribute 100% of my part of the household at first. But you see, the way that I was raised by my father, may he RIP, is to be a motherfucking hustler. And when I say that, I don't mean illegal. I don't do illegal stuff. I never have. I've never sold drugs or stolen things and sold. I've never done any of that. Okay. I've been around people like that my whole life, but I look at them and I'm like, nah, that's for you, but not for me. I'm talking about find multiple streams of income, multiple ways of making money, even if that means having multiple jobs, which is usually what I do, which is what I mean by that. I'm a hard worker. I have been since I was a little kid, okay? I became a mom when I was in high school, and I hustled real fucking hard. Ever since then, when I found out I was going to be a mom, I took that shit way serious, and I worked and worked and worked and worked up until my son was born, and even right after, I went back to fucking work, you know what I'm saying, and worked really, really hard ever since then, okay? So I'm saying that because the family member that I asked for help and support, that I thought I could be vulnerable, and I feel ashamed, being an adult who is a parent, asking another adult, can I move in with you? Can you help me? I fucking hate it, man. It kills me inside. I feel like I'm crawling on the ground on my belly and reaching up like with a dirty face or something, like if I have to ask anyone for the slightest bit of help. I'm getting a little too passionate over here. Accidentally knocking things over and stuff. But anyway, and I thought that I could turn to them for that, and they played it off at first like, oh yeah, no, I'll help you, oh my gosh, but it's like as soon as the time came to where I said, okay, I need just a little bit of support right now. I got treated right off the bat like I was some freeloading bum ass ninja, trying to take advantage of someone and be a moocher or something. And I was just flabbergasted. Like, how can this woman treat me like that? Me, the hard-working hustler since I was a kid. I have not one moocher bone in my body. Like, why the fuck would she act like that towards me? I just don't understand. I just need a little bit of help for a little while, and I will find my way. I always find my way. I always pick myself back up. I always get back on my feet, somehow, some way. And right off the bat, she treated me like, like harassing me. And, I don't want to get into that whole time period. That was a couple of years ago. But the couple of years ago is leading up to now. So pretty much a a lot of things happened. I had an emotional and nervous breakdown shortly after moving in with said family member because of the way that she treated me. And a lot of doors were closing in my face when I was trying to make it and get back on my feet. And she was of no help. She made it worse and worse and fucking worse. So I'm a Taurus through and through. You know what I'm saying? We hold grudges. And I'm a Scorpio also. We don't forget. When people do us dirty to where it hurts us, like emotionally, we do not forget. We do not forget. Okay? So I just decided, you know what? I'm going to stay here with this family member, and I'm going to go ahead and bust my ass and put my head down and try to not deal with them as much as possible so that I can get the hell out and get back on my own 2 feet. I'm supposed to be doing that anyway, but I fell into such deep depressive modes over the last couple years, you guys, like crippling, drowning in my emotions, you know, depressive modes and stuff a lot. Okay. To where it was very difficult to pull myself back up from under the depressive waters, you know. And this person was not helpful, not supportive, just no empathy, no nothing, very selfish. So anyway, fast forward to now. I still don't really fuck with that person, but I had to live with them and just try to deal with them until I can, you know, bounce back. And something that they did to me when I was a little girl that I tried to stash away and tried to pretend never happened for years and years and years and years and years. Once this 8th house was open, it started haunting me again. Like, oh yeah, remember this woman did this to you. And I was just like, oh, I don't want to remember that. I really don't. And then 4th house stuff starts hitting. Who's your 4th house? Who's your 4th house in astrology? You're nurturing parental figures, right? I'm really, really trying hard not to name anybody here. You guys can come to conclusions on your own based on what I'm trying to vaguely say, because I you know what I'm saying? I don't know why I'm trying to protect people when they never fucking protected me ever and still fail to now. But who is your 4th house? Okay. So now we've got Saturn here. Now we've got Jupiter here. Jupiter is a blessing. Yes, he brings blessings, but he can also expand upon things. And I always say Jupiter could be like a and please forgive all of the racket back here, you guys. Speaking of Jupiter in the 4th, I was blessed with a new place of living, but they are renovating this place, and there's, you know, places above me they're working on, and they're gutting them out and completely making them new, which is beautiful, but it's loud as fuck. Okay. Like, they are really fucking loud. So I'm sorry. But anyway, you know, Jupiter brings the blessings, but I always say he can be compared to like a projector, right? Like a movie projector, like bring things to the big screen, the big picture in life, you know? So if you have any issues that you have been ignoring, Jupiter can make them go big on the projector screen of your fucking life, you know, of your own vision. Like, you see it loud and clear now. And and he could bring the drama, like make it, you know, drama that happens so that it is brought to the forefront, you know, of your vision and of your life. So that's Jupiter, Saturn in the 4th, you know, starting the beginning of this year. So the main issues I had with this family member just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And finally, I just really started speaking up. Lilith was transiting over me, including on my Mercury. Mercury is how you communicate. And I was being very raw and real about Lilith issues, about being violated as a female growing up, and about what this person did. And this person keeps telling me to my face, staring me dead in the eyes and saying, I never did that. I don't remember that. So therefore it didn't happen. pretty much calling me a liar without saying the exact word liar. They keep calling me a liar. And even other things that other people did to me when I was a child that I kept bringing to her attention, she would just wave her hand in my face and say, I don't remember that, and walk away. And this is the very person that people always brag that they can turn to for everything. I've never had that. I don't know what it's like. It's real fucking alien and foreign to me. You know what I'm saying? Fourth house in Aquarius. Aquarius rules aliens and being emotionally detached and stuff like that. The whole regular concept of family and mothers and all that stuff that humans are quote unquote supposed to have, I don't know personally. It's like I observe, like, Aquarius rules, you rise above everyone else in humanity, and you scientifically, like, observe and dissect humans and why they do this and why that, and you don't really feel anything that they feel, but it's like you understand it logically, but you have no feeling and emotion towards it. That's how I am with the regular schmegular family dynamics, family structure, family relationships. Oh, my mother is my best friend, and oh, my mommy is the best. I have no fucking clue what that is like, unfortunately. So I don't know what it's like to have super supportive family that's there for you when you need things, and it's like I do, but it's from other blood relatives, not from the main one that you would think you would get that from. My sister is moon in Aquarius, so her moon is in my fourth house, so she's been like a mother figure to me. Even though she's younger, she's been a mother figure to me, and the one person that, even though she's a Capricorn, she may have a little attitude sometimes, but she's been the one that has been supportive of me mostly in my life. And my father, but he's no longer here, unfortunately. But anyway, other than that, like what everybody else experiences, mine is going to be weird and awkward and off and different and outside of the norm, which is Aquarius. And so that's being brought more and more to my attention with Saturn here. Saturn brings hard lessons, hard realizations about things, hard facts, and the hard shit. And Jupiter helps you to realize things. It's one of the planets that rule your mind and studying and stuff like that. So I really had all of that brought to my attention, even more, digging up a lot of shit. So so pretty much, without going into too much personal family stuff, there were a couple of people in my household that did some things to me when I was a little girl, and it damaged me. It really did. As with unfortunately, a lot of people, not just girls, okay, have similar stories. And so Lilith is telling me, you better, speak on this. You better just spew out every fucking thing that happened to you that damaged your femininity. You better speak on it. You better just say it. And to the only, one of the people that did stuff to me that was in my household is no longer living. And like I said, not my father. I've lost a lot of family, okay? Another one wasn't living in my household, but they were always there when I was really, really small because they were a blood family member. They did some things to me too. And other than that, my parents were in La La Land. That's why I have a Pisces moon, right? Square Neptune in my own chart. My parents were in La La Land, didn't always pay attention to me, and other random strangers, neighbors, I ended up wandering into the hands of them, with them being creeps and weirdos and shit. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of stuff happened to me as a result of a lack of protection when I was a kid, and that has been haunting me hard lately. So I've been trying to talk to this family member about everything, and she continuously, pretty much, not literally slams the door in my face, but she just shuts me out, says I don't recall any of this, and blames other people, blames my father who's no longer living, you know, and can't speak for himself, for everything, and doesn't take accountability, never apologizes. And if there is ever an apology, the very next day, it's like they're right back to their bullshit of telling me things like, you're an adult, so I shouldn't have to help you. Why do I have to help an adult? That's the kind of things I still get told to this very day. I still have belongings at my old place where this person lives, and I still have to keep going and, you know, getting things and moving things. And whenever I do, I try to just peacefully, you know, not speak, not say anything, just get my shit and get out. But there's times where they approach me and try to power trip and try to manipulate me and try to fight with me. There's been a couple of literal fights to where they were, you know, getting physical with me, and I didn't fight back. I didn't even start it. I didn't initiate it. I didn't make any motions, not even one flick of the hand or fingers or anything to indicate I'm trying to physically fight with this person, or that I even want to, you know. And they still, because they can't face the facts of themselves that I'm bringing to their attention, they attack me physically, verbally, emotionally. Still, it's like I'm trying to bring things up so that they could be fixed and I can get it all out from my own therapy, but maybe you need therapy too, you know what I'm saying? And they still keep flipping the script, saying I'm lying, I'm making up stories basically, and telling me that why should they have to ever be supportive of me or help me out because I'm an adult. Yeah, so, you know, there's a lot more to this story. There's so much fucking bullshit. Like, there's so much more to it, and it's ongoing. And I'm really just trying to enjoy the blessing that Jupiter gave me in the 4th house of living in a new place, with having peace besides all the racket above me, you know, because they're rebuilding this and redoing that. That's fine. It's still kind of irritating, but you know what? I'm thankful to Spirit and the universe every single day that I am no longer living with a person that abused me and then abused me more for trying to bring up and discuss the abuse for previously. All I want to do is just repair my childhood, you know, which is Saturn and Jupiter in your 4th house, your early years, your childhood. 3rd house is childhood and early years too, but 4th house is also affiliated with that. And my concept of family and, you know, all of that stuff. I would like to know kind of what it's like to have some normalcy, I guess. I don't know if Aquarius in my 4th will let me have that, but I at least want to give that to my own kids, you know what I mean? And my youngest was a witness to this bullshit going down with me and this other person, because he was living with me over there too. And I just am grateful that I was able to get us out of there, and that he doesn't have to see or hear any more of that. So maybe he can have some normalcy in his childhood that I didn't have, you know what I'm saying? And protection from witnessing things and experiencing things that I was not protected from. And what really gets me also is this person moved the last straw, which is why I said it was an emergency. I just had to put all my energy into moving. Was not just them trying to whack the shit out of me with objects in front of my kid just for speaking truth and nothing more than that. But, you know, they moved some man in against my wishes, or you know, they tried to bring it up to me. I want to move a man in here. This is the type of woman that needs to have a man in order to survive. in their mind, you know. But me, I've been there, done that, with and without a man. I will fucking survive. Okay, I don't care if I gotta work 16 jobs, man. You know, like on In Living Color. I don't care. I don't want to rely on anybody so they can manipulate me, you know. So but she needs to have a man, and she'll meet someone, barely know them, and then give them full access to not just her life, but me living there, my son living there, access to us without investigating them. And you know, my Scorpio rising investigates motherfuckers. Like, if somebody says they're even remotely interested in me, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, first, middle, last name, where all of you lived. You know what I'm saying? Give me your birth time, birthplace. Not only am I looking up their chart, I'm trying to research their criminal background. I'm Googling motherfuckers. Like, I've already learned hard lessons about just taking a man's word. You know what I'm saying? But the Scorpio in me just still refuses to not investigate fools. But this person doesn't investigate people, that she gives access to herself, her life, but also her children. And that's been a really huge issue with me my entire life, and why a lot of things happen to me is because of the no filter of it all with this person. So now there's talks of I'm moving a man in here, and I'm like, have you even so much as Googled this motherfucker's name? Well, no, I don't know how to do any of that. I don't know. How about you do it? Me? Okay, look. Yes, I'm Scorpio, FBI, you know, CIA, fucking private investigator of the world. Yes. But the point is, why am I always left to fend for myself and protect myself? Why is it that the very people that are supposed to protect you, I've never been fully protected by? They've failed to protect me. And it's still, and I'm like, that's a huge issue I'm trying to heal from. And this person knows that. And now they say they want to work on all of that and fix it. You know, Saturn in the fourth makes you want to fix things, right? Restructure them, break them down, restructure them, rebuild them. And so I'm like, okay, yes, I'm down for that. But then in the midst of that, guess what? I want to move a strange motherfucker in the house that I don't even know them very well, and they say this and they say that, and I'm taking their word for it. Why do I need to investigate them? I was just appalled. Like I said, did you at least check the sex offender list online? I have a little kid here. Are you fucking kidding me, woman? You know what I'm saying? So I said, no, I'm not comfortable with this. I'm also on the lease, and I'm saying no. This is not going to help me. I'm in 8th house mode right now. 4th and 8th house are both about protection. And if your 4th house and 8th houses, either or both, in my case, are fucked up, you are in like war mode, or like post-war syndrome, PTSD. You look around at everybody like, who are you? Are you the enemy? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to hurt me? What are you going to do? You look at everyone like that. So you totally have your guard up. You can't, there's no fucking half stepping with being vulnerable, and you know, no, you can't, I can't be like that. You know, so I'm like, are you serious about moving a man that you barely know into the house with me and my little kid? No, ma'am. But guess what? Within a week, this motherfucker was living there. And there was no announcement made. There was no, hey, I know you said this and that, let me discuss this with you. No, it's just, I noticed some fool in the house never going home. And, you know, although my intuition tells me, and I'm pretty good at reading people, that this person is probably not a bad person, the fact of the matter is, I said I'm not comfortable with this because of issues I'm trying to work on, and trying to work on with this other person in my family. But they still said, well, I want them around. They're here to help me and give me money. So basically, your child and your grandchild don't matter because of what you want, because you want a man around. Once again, this has been an ongoing problem. And the thing is, I have tried and tried and tried for a couple of years now to get it through to this person, my issues with them. And they never change, never care, never. Nothing changes. Nothing ever. And so I said, you know what? Fine. I silently, did a lot of stuff, busted my ass to be able to get the hell up out of there, move me and my kid up out of there. And like I said, as you can hear in the in the background, hopefully not, it's still a process. But like I said, Jupiter, blessings. I got the blessing of, having an opportunity to move. And so I'm going to do my best with it. And I'm hoping that Saturn in the 4th is not just, hard times within the family and digging up old shit, from family and childhood and pain and suffering, that it's actually work. Saturn rules business. Saturn rules corporations, being a fucking boss, you know what I mean? And in the 4th house, that's your home. So I work from home. As an astrologer, I work from home. Okay, so I'm restructuring and rebuilding, which is Saturn, my business, which is Saturn, from home, which is the 4th house. So I'm really hoping and praying that this is going to be the end of me having to unexpectedly take hiatuses because I'm drowning in my emotions and anxiety and depression from bullshit going on in my life from other people doing me dirty. I don't want to come on here and be woe is me or whatever, but people were like, well, where were you? And, this and that. I'm turning this into an astrology lesson, of course. I'm not coming on here to just fucking cry and say, poor me and feel sorry for me. No, look, this is why I said astrology could be life-saving, because I am a person that drowns in their feels big time, and I can stay stuck down there for a long time. It's hard to pull me back up. But knowing that the planets move and shift, time moves and shifts. Astrology, the word for astrology, when you break it down, it means, or horoscope, the word horoscope, it means literally watching time. So you're watching time when you're looking at the planetary activity. You can see, periods of time where you may have shit storms. You know what I'm saying? And there could be some happiness too. Like, you're looking, Saturn could bring a shit storm, but Jupiter could bring the happiness. You know what I'm saying? So there's both going on. So it's like, oh, okay. And you with your free will, it's like there's a certain amount of fate and there's a certain amount of free will that astrology actually shows too. How many, what percentage of what we truly have as human beings, I'm still trying to figure that out as a human myself. But I know that there's a certain amount of each that we have. And, you can go through a really fucked up transit, but it could be so difficult that it pushes you to do better and be better. It's like being in boot camp, Saturn transits, He's putting you through some sort of like trials and tribulations, but in the end, he blesses you with something. He blesses you with something in the end. Like at the end of Saturn in Capricorn last year, Saturn was in my 3rd house, which is vehicles and driving. Boy, don't you know, when Saturn was in my fucking 3rd house, you guys, oh my gosh, the whole vehicle and driving thing, I had so many issues. And then I was without a car for a whole year up until last year. And I had to use a family member's car, the same family member that treats me like a freeloading bum just for needing a little bit of help, which I hate asking for. You know what I'm saying? I had to use their car, and I was harassed about where I was going and why and how long, and I need my vehicle. What are you doing with my car? When I have like fucking 5 jobs, it's like, oh my God, how do you expect me to work and make money, but yet you don't want me to use your car to go to work and make money? It was terrible. But guess what? Once Saturn left Capricorn, I got a new car. I got my own car. I busted my ass. I saved up money. And I bought a car. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of Saturn transits, you can reap more of the rewards of the difficulties that you went through. So hopefully, maybe at the end of the Saturn in the fourth, maybe I'll be gifted with an even better place of living, you know, maybe home ownership somewhere rather than somewhere where there's other people and neighbors and loud ass construction people. You know what I'm saying? So you got to take the good with the bad. And I am so grateful for the knowledge of astrology to show me that, because otherwise maybe I might have still been stuck in the same place, you know, living with a manipulative, abusive, selfish fucking person and thinking that there's no way out, you know. But Jupiter does help you to see the bigger picture and the way out to things. Opportunity is Jupiter, so I was blessed with an opportunity and I took it. And there's still, hey, the new place I live in, it ain't all roses and sunshine and rainbows now, okay? Like I said, you know, there's a lot of racket going on, and there's a lot of things in my own spot that I needed fixed, like right off the bat. Like the AC guy, the fucking cable guy, the plumber, the this, the that, the bathroom flooded the first night I was here, like all kinds of stuff. Like Saturn will bring you, like I said, he's boot camp drill sergeant, you know. So he's like, Jupiter's like, I'm gonna bless you with this place, yay. And Saturn's like, you're gonna get that blessing, but I ain't gonna let you, you know, let it be easy for you. That's what Saturn says. You know that meme of that rapper named Conceited? He's a dude that has like the tan outfit and hat on, and he's got, you know, he's making that face where he's scrunching his lips up and googling at the camera like, so you thought, bitch, you know what I mean? That's what I imagine Saturn, if he could be like personified. That's the face he's making at you when Jupiter is in the same sign as Saturn, and Jupiter's like, here you go, you can have this, and I'm gonna hand you this freebie and this opportunity. And Saturn's like, he's making that face like, oh, this is easy. Saturn's like, no, bitch. Let me throw a couple of boulders in your path, you know what I'm saying, a couple obstacle courses for you to jump through. So pretty much that's what's going on. And you know, like I said, it's getting there, but it's not complete. Like, for you guys know that I use my voice, my business relies upon my voice. And as a Taurus stellium person, I can, Taurus rules the voice, so I can easily lose my voice, unfortunately. When I do long videos, long readings and stuff, by the end of it, my voice starts going out. You know, it's just a part of being a Taurus, heavily Taurus energy person. And whenever I encounter this family member, like we end up getting into yelling and screaming matches because they're so fucking stubborn and nothing gets through to them, that I lose my voice. So whenever I go over there to still get more of my things and, you know, this and that ends up happening, and my voice will be gone for maybe like a day or two. So that's also why, you know, I wasn't doing any videos. I wasn't doing any readings. I was too emotionally and psychologically fucked up because this person's looking me dead in the eyes, telling me everything that is traumatizing me is not real. Like literally staring me cold in the eyeballs and telling me that, and then apologizing to me, and then the next day, you know, flipping the script on me again. You know what I'm saying? Or being an asshole one day, and then the next day, hey diddly do, and expecting me to have chattery small talk with them. And that psychologically fucks people up, okay? So it's like, what do I say? How do I explain this to people of why, you know, I'm screaming every day at this person, I'm losing my voice, I'm messed up emotionally and mentally. I don't know if it's me that's mental or this other person. I'm sitting here in my room every day trying to figure that out. How do I explain that, you know? But fuck it. Now, how else do I explain it but to tell the truth? You know, the planet Uranus is about truth, right? Truth and liberation and putting your middle finger up. You know, Uranus is in Taurus, right? He's been dancing over me for a few years now, but now he's really sitting on me. Okay, really sitting on my Taurus planets. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm speaking the truth and throwing my middle finger up. Fuck it. I hope people learn from things that I explain through astrology by keeping it real and as transparent as possible. As transparent as my Scorpio rising will let me be. You know what I mean? There's still a lot of details I'm leaving out, a lot of fucked up things and whatever. But I hope you guys got something out of this besides me just venting. I hope any other Scorpio risings, if you can, or Scorpio, even Scorpio sun and moon, man. So I hope if any of you guys can relate to any of this stuff, that I wish you healing as well. And, blessings of, I've been talking to a lot of Scorpios saying that they're moving and that they have a difficult living situation. Maybe it's not exactly the same lineup as me, same situations, but some of them are like, I have issues with my roommate, or, some Scorpios I've spoken to, Scorpios rising, 2 Scorpio risings I know are actually having houses built. Okay. And there's a Scorpio sun sign also that I know that's having a house built, and it's a process. Saturn is about building, actual literal building structures, and about things being a long drawn out process, but you get a reward in the end, right? So that could be Saturn the 4th building a house, literally having one built from the ground up. So I do know some Scorpio sun, rising, and moon people who are having that happen for them, and that's a blessing. It's probably still a pain in the ass, but still, you know what I mean? So it's not all bad for everybody. It just all depends. I also have all this Aquarius shit squaring my fucking life, you know what I mean? Like squaring all my Taurus stuff, squaring this, squaring that, so it may be a little bit more difficult for me than other Scorpios, but still, there's still the same themes that are popping up, similar themes of like your place of living, and for some of you guys maybe it is family, but anyway, you guys, I'm gonna cut this off right here before I say anything else, but once again, if you want to know what Saturn and Jupiter and the eclipses and Uranus and Taurus and all that stuff is doing for you based on your sign, if you're not a Scorpio, if you're another sign, I do recommend you check out my horoscope for 2021, because I go through all of that stuff. Like I said, it's like 2 hours. It's like 2 hours long of me breaking every transit down, and telling you what real life things could be going on for you this year. So this stuff has been a saving grace for me. I hope it could be helpful for some of you guys too. Please forgive all the fucking noise. I swear. I hope you guys, besides the noise, got something educational, helpful out of this. And if anybody else is going through any things, if any transits are digging up any old trauma, or current trauma, childhood shit or anything like that, my heart goes out to you too. Okay? We'll get through this. All right. So take care, you guys. And until my next one, I'll see you guys later. Peace.